ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to The Business Coach, a show in which you out to help entrepreneurs better their businesses. My name is Ian Dennis, and tonight on the show, we're going to be exploring one of the 5 love languages, which is gifting. On the first half of the show, I'm going to be having a conversation with Anne of B-Box, a startup out in this particular world, to ensure that if you want to gift a loved one, you can actually go to them. So we're going to be exploring her journey and what are some of the challenges she faces. And after the break, I'm going to be linking up Anne to Makbul of Papink, an established business in this particular industry. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. This particular work of ours is very significant for you because 2020 you decided now to get back to business, that you're taking a break off. So just take me through that particular moment in 2020 when COVID happened, when you decided now to close your business.
When COVID hit and everything was just so unpredictable, nobody knew what was going to happen, how long this thing was going to last. I think it got to me. So my partner and I sat down and we decided that maybe it would be a better idea to just hold off for a bit and see how things go.
Interesting.
Yeah,
and
because business is risky. Sometimes it can be risky, and sometimes you need, money to operate, to survive. So all those things. Yeah. So, yeah.
And what exactly was going through your mind? Because I know it hit everybody very differently, and the way it happened was very abrupt, and I know you're still fairly new, what was it called, in 2020 in this particular business. What exactly was going through your mind at that particular point?
I was scared, of course, and then you start thinking, maybe I should have gotten a job and not been in business. You start thinking all these things.
The what ifs.
Yeah, the what ifs, yeah. So, yeah, it was scary.
Interesting. And you'd mentioned about getting a job, and I know before this particular, exploit, you were employed for a while. How exactly was your experience? How long were you employed, and what exactly made you now transition into business?
I had been employed for about an year and a few months on contract basis as a customer service agent for a company. But then once the contract ended, I just decided to try something else.
How exactly was that particular dive into the world of business?
At the time it wasn't scary because I had been interested for a while in e-commerce and online businesses, because I could see it was something that was coming up. Yeah. I just didn't know. I just didn't have an idea of what I wanted to sell, Yeah. But then at the time when I decided to not renew the contract, I was just like, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to find something.
So it was like, I'm not renewing this particular contract and I'm getting into business. And just take me through, why did you decide now the gifting business? And what exactly was the process now in terms of just setting yourself for this particular business?
I sat down and brainstormed.
You started brainstorming after you had left your contract?
Yes. it was quite...
just that particular leap. Me, I'm leaving, I'll just figure myself out. So you'd quit your job and now you're like, no, because let me just figure out what exactly I'm going to do.
Yes, and I could see it's something that is, like all businesses eventually are going to move to this online platform. So I was like, why not try? I'm young.
Yeah. You still have time on your
Let
side.
Me see. Yeah.
The name B-Box, it's quite an interesting name. Even I think I've told you several times. I just love your logo. I just love how everything looks like. How did the name come about, and what does the name signify in terms of the overall business you're in?
So the name was, as I think we had this conversation earlier. Yeah. So I was just brainstorming, and I wanted to when I decided to start a gift business, I did my research. So I literally sat down and Googled and watched YouTube videos, looked at other businesses, their websites in Kenya and even abroad. So I had a few tips on like what to do. I mean, what kind of things will help my brand stand out. So among those things was finding a name that is easy to remember. And so I just B-Box.
B-Box
Yeah,
came
it
about.
just came about.
And something quite interesting that you've mentioned is that you decided to quit your job. That's when you decided to brainstorm in terms of coming up with a business and venturing into this particular gifting business. But how exactly was it in terms of now the capital for you to set up? How much did you start with? How exactly was that particular process of setting up the business? What did you do in the initial phases?
Sometimes it's, if you don't do it, you will never do it. If you don't take that leap, you probably will never do it. Like, I feel like if I hadn't left my job, there's no way I would have come up with this idea. There's no way. I don't think so.
And what is the process like in terms of just setting up here?
So I sat down and wrote a business plan. And then, yeah, I just started looking for capital from people around me. Yeah. I went to the banks.
You actually went to the bank that used, interesting.
But then banks are complicated. Yeah. But fortunately for me, my family, my brother and a friend of mine now, Maureen, those are the people who gave me initial capital to start.
And in terms of now setting up, because you've told me that you've mentioned Maureen, who's usually your partner in the business, and a silent partner in the business. How exactly now do you go about the normal operations of the business? What's your role in the business? What's her role in the business? How do you ensure that the business gets to, what's it called, just operate and remain profitable?
It's been a learning process. I have to say that for sure. My role is I handle most of the operations of the business, and then for Maureen, it's mostly the capital side, but she helps out even like with processing orders, sometimes packaging when we have bulk orders and we need manpower. Yeah, she's usually there. Sometimes when we are sourcing for things.
You've mentioned about sourcing for things. What's it called? What kind of gifts do you deal in? How do you determine the gifts to give some of the clients that you handle? What's the business model like? What makes B-Box very special as compared to so many different gift shops that exist?
True. So for us, the concept we had initially was to gift packages, because as you can see, it's
more than a gift.
It's more than a gift. It's a love language. We wanted for the recipient to have an experience, to feel loved, to make it an experience. From the unboxing, the packaging, the unwrapping, and then we also wanted the things we are including in the package to have to be something that the person can keep for a long time, something they can use for a long time. Yeah.
Assuming it's me and I really want to give a special one a gift, how do you usually go about it?
So we have a questionnaire, a short questionnaire that we send to the client, and then from whatever the responses you give, we are able now to suggest some things we can help you gift this person. Yeah, yeah. But we also have some already packaged. Yes.
How exactly has it been? Because I presume that I think our culture, most so in this part of the world, many of us, not everybody, many of us usually want to buy the gift last minute. You wake up in the morning and remember it's this person's birthday. So how do you deal with such cases?
For us, we don't do same-day deliveries because it takes time to do these things, like to customize, like if it's a thermal mug you want, or a notebook, or a kikoi, or a robe, we have to write the names. So it's going to take time. So for us, we ask for...
What's the lead time?
2 to 3 days, depending on what you settle on.
So for B-Box, it's not for random people like us. You wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh, maybe this person's birthday.
No, we don't do same-day deliveries.
And just finally, in this particular business, it's quite competitive, and I see a lot of gift shops coming up. Most of them, like you're dealing. It's primarily the business online. How do you remain relevant? How do you keep yourself up in the market and afloat in the market so that the customers can get to know you?
Marketing. Also, especially influencer marketing.
Oh, you do influencer marketing?
Yes, that actually works. But also marketing on our page, yeah. Relating to your customers well, good customer service, because it's easier to keep your current customers than to keep getting new ones. It's easier to retain customers than to keep...
And in being in this business for the period that you've been, what are some of the challenges you've been experiencing?
COVID.
It's not going away.
But yeah, that's true. Yeah, we just have to live with it. Yeah. So I can say financing has been a bit of an issue.
And just the final question that I like asking every particular entrepreneur, what's the dream that you do hold in terms of your vision for the business?
I'm hoping for growth, for us to grow and be a bigger family, a bigger team. I'm hoping to even start shipping to other countries, yes, because we already ship to other counties within
So
Kenya.
from counties to countries.
Countries, yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
And spreading the love language across
exactly.
around the world.
Yes.
Interesting.
And love.
I'm wishing you all the best. So we're going to take a short commercial break, but after the break, I'm going to be linking up Anne to Makbul of Popping to share tips and how exactly she can share the whole love language, the gifting love language across different countries and across the world. So don't touch that dial. I'll see you after the break.